Yo, welcome back to another We Should Be Recording This conversation. My name is Omari Harabin, and today I'm going to share a little bit of my life schooling philosophy, especially for the parents out there who are perhaps considering homeschooling or want to homeschool and are not really sure how to go about it or whatever. I'm not necessarily the person to even tell you how to go about that either. However, life schooling for me, it's not a term that I necessarily coined. However, it best reflects my own personal education philosophy for my family. And instead of bringing the school system home and abiding by that same overarching model, it seeks to create a new model, a life sustaining model, one where you're schooled in life, literally in life. And so for me, what that meant was recreating my own life so that I could become that, that not only that father, but that guide for my son. And when I realized I was becoming a father, fortunately I was already, awake to what I just talked about, that 17 plus years of schooling for the sake of becoming really employable or for the sake of earning a really high salary, but still, being in debt because of that schooling, or still being chained to that job because of not knowing how to create the means any other way. That was, obviously that was a system that I was not interested in recycling. Like, I didn't want to do that over again for my next generation because I had already done it. And so my solution to the problem was that by the time my son was of school age, of like 5, 6, I would create that schooling environment for him. And so that, that kind of, I wasn't sure about a lot of things, but I was definitely sure about that. And it was worth whatever, sacrifice in order to realize that reality. And now that I'm in that reality, it's a daily challenge because it requires a certain amount of discipline, structure. There's a lot of people who talk about just, dismantling systems and so on and starting from scratch. And that's good. That's great. I think creating small microsystems, right, for yourself, for your family, if you can do that, then you can, the big macro stuff can carry on. But the real challenge is, can you create a system that works for you and yours? And I think doing that and the pursuit of that, for me, is life, because life is all about systems. It's all about cycles and creation and recreation and the recreation that creates even more life. And so, yeah, it's a lofty sounding, thing or whatever, but at the root of it, at the core of it, is just that the way children are educated today is that it puts the real world way out into the future, and it disconnects them from reality, so that they have to chase all of these academic goals in order to then become something in the world, or to whatever. And my schooling experience, what I found to be most useful were those experiences that simulated reality, right? So, those projects or those things where you got to play the role or get in the mindset or to actually do something and create something, those were the things that I gained the most from throughout my schooling. So, I hypothesized, well, what if you just, discard the simulation and just focus on the creation in real time, in the here and now. And, instead of having to do all these other things to then earn a living, learn to live in accordance with your skills and your gifts, and uh, unlocking the value of those skills and gifts, and learning how to produce those things, and to replicate those things, and allow those things to serve the ecosystem around you that you either create or that you step or move into. Um, yeah, that's the talk. And it's a daily challenge, if I didn't already say that, because, it requires a certain amount of discipline, and a certain amount of focus, a certain amount of kind of reprioritizing, and structuring everything such that everyone's needs are met in accordance with their own growth. And the idea is that we grow together, as we learn, as we apply, as I learn, they get to model learning. As I apply, they get to model the application of something, and they get to reap the benefits of what that whole thing yields. So hopefully you found this useful in some way. At the very least, in just the sense that, there are possibilities that you can pursue, possibilities that may initially start out undefined, or initially may be shrouded by uncertainty, that, if your heart and mind are aligned, you can pursue those things and realize them, and they can serve yourself, and, you and yours, and perhaps even more people in the process.